Which animal has the most powerful anus in the world? It's mites. Who is the animal in the world that makes the best cheese? It's mites. Who is the fastest animal in the world in terms of relative speed? Or mites. This type of mite is called a Hearty Mite. Look at its speed. So fast that it left only a blur on the camera. You might think, this scene only shows the needle being removed. You'll only notice it when slowed down to 130. He's just like Fan Shaoqing. He leisurely drew a circle in place. He can move 20 centimeters in a second, equivalent to 322 times the body length. What about people who are 18 meters tall? That's equivalent to moving 580 meters per second. It can reach speeds of up to 2,100 kilometers per hour. It is comparable to the existence of Homelander. Who would have thought that its body length is only 0.7 millimeters? The sensation of the body writhing like an imperial engine contains superhuman power. The animal with the strongest relative grip in the world. Still mites. These mites. It can withstand a pulling force of 1,180 times its own weight without letting go. That's equivalent to one person being able to pull 80 tons of force. He was the former world record holder. The number of times the ecosystems on this planet, energy extracted from sunlight, forest meadow, fields and deserts, including human beings themselves. Add it all up, they can only utilize less than half of the energy. And the rest, then it enters the vast life system of the soil, absorbed by the microorganisms and various bacteria inside. The earth beneath our feet. It's truly a field of mites. In terms of quantity, whether it's ants forming a giant wheel, earthworms or other small insects. In terms of quantity, none of them can compare to these tiny lives that introduced the smoke. Generally speaking, in the topsoil layer about 10 centimeters underground. On average, each square meter is home to 50,000 to 200,000 mites. The surface of the insect's age. This number usually reaches 100, although one's name contains the character for insect. But mites are not insects. It is a plant of the class Cyclomorpha in the phylum Auricularia, although it looks like it's just a standard, unexplained figure. And his long-legged relative, the spider. Unlike the fierce scorpion, animals from the subphylum have a characteristic. That's a classic example of someone without a brain. But most of it is broken down in the body, like the diseased pig spider, etc. The cephalothorax and abdomen are separated into two segments, but the mites made my waist disappear. The whole body is structured like a big stomach. In the early Devonian season 41 years ago, mites have already appeared on land. The mites at this time are the same as they are now. Very small. Soil sand. Lichens all have their place to live. Various stains. They can eat fungi. Certainly, the juicy leaves of the plant also taste great. So, mites turn some breath into straws to suck the sap of plants. The most famous of them is Yi-Man. This is what we commonly call red spiders. They survive by absorbing the sap from plants. They have used it. Most of them will turn transparent and yellowish. It has lost the ability to provide nutrition. He avoids other plants that are plagued by insects. They accept all comers. The toxicity of things like chili peppers. It was just a piece of cake for him. We're on the back of some plants. You can see some dirty spider silk. These are actually just some of the masterpieces created at night. As a vegetarian, they don't need nets to hunt. In reality, these nets are night gates, landfill for cleaning up household waste. They will dispose of household waste. There were also crumbs left over from the crispy crust. Stick it to the net while it's still sticky. Keep your territory spotless. Although they reproduce very quickly. However, they will not encounter Mr. Popovich's population problem. Because it's nighttime. It can also, like some small spiders, tear apart, spread to other plants. When there are many people, look for well-known places in the new world. The old problems will naturally be solved. They are highly resistant to pesticides at night, spreading rapidly, and capable of rapidly updating the population to resist pesticides. This leads to the need for conventional air defense measures. It's hard to get results, but naturally there are no evergreen trees. Only one thing can subdue another. People quickly found ways to cope with the night. Biological house. Through, like in the fields, Mite particles containing predatory mites. It can quickly and effectively control the number of leaves. Common predators, especially like the 28-leaf variety. After eating all the leaves, they will leave quietly. It won't cause the slightest damage to the plants. Of course, that's not a scientific classification, as it doesn't refer to mites. Many mites are not mites, and the most distinctive of them, in my opinion, it's the Acaricide family. Some species of the Lysomorphidae family have a large body size. Its body surface is also covered with bright red down. Foreigners call it the red natural velvet mite. This is an adorable chubby baby. It is worth noting that some fan books are surprisingly large. The largest of these can even grow up to 12 centimeters in size. Hold these big mites in your hands. It looks like a plush toy. They're adults. It may not be insects or other mites, but the larvae. It lives as a parasite on other animals. This is actually not hard to understand. After all, mites are too small. Poor mobility. Therefore, many mites have learned to hitchhike, to switch your base. And, in this process, consider it taking advantage of the toilet's freebies. Not surprising. In many animal markets larger than mites, almost all, see parasitic mites. For example, brewing elements. Bees that love to eat hajime, a type of bee, are parasitized by varroa mites. It will cause great harm to beekeeping. Parasitism. The most ingenious evolution. I believe it should be Tectus repens. They parasitize the tips of diseased ants' legs. It sucked the ants' legs until they shrank. Theoretically speaking, an ant's 6 legs would be missing a corner. But his size, the shape makes up for this gap very well. He himself became a living prosthetic limb of an ant. Light is just a tiny ant. It can let mites sit for a lifetime. As for the several huge piles of meat, that's an inexhaustible mountain of rice and noodles. A single hair is like a towering tree. Mao man. It's a type of mite that specifically breeds to feed on hair. Most species in the family. Both are getting longer. 2 pairs of forceps for physical testing. It has degenerated into pincers specifically for holding hair in place. It looks like a hair clip. This can be considered a form of growth biomimicry. To be honest, the most suitable animal hair for parasites. Birds are definitely the most sought after, based on the bird's size and feather length. 1 cent a cent. You can live a life full of different kinds of depression. Long feathers and hollow rain tubes. It's a large house with no shared area. The rain outside this is an open-air balcony. Definitely a 4th-generation luxury residence. If it were born from crystal. Fresh grease for May Day will be available every day. Free delivery to your doorstep. You can still live a life of luxury without any effort. But as the saying goes, one is born in hardship and dies in comfort. Although a motto, fish tanks where birds can live. But sometimes, what about their body shape? It will also become too big. He trapped himself inside. In the skin of many animals, live creatures that are full of life. They are usually the host stratum corneum. Some adult females. When the term expires, it will be on human skin. Digging between the stratum corneum and the granular layer. The term expires without an advanced respiratory system, mainly through skin respiration. But how to survive in an oxygen-enclosed environment like a tunnel. Community oxygen. People and netizens are studying. They will be there in 26 weeks. Step on 23 eggs in the cave every day. But don't worry too much. Even if you are infected and the term expires, they are in healthy adults. The number usually doesn't exceed 20. And these are all in the forearms and lower legs where body temperature is lower, sometimes just by the friction of clothing. It's also possible that their caves could be rubbed away directly, because the boundary plate has very poor mobility. Once dragged from the body's surface to the ground, basically it has a beginning but no end. Basic infections are very easy to detect. Most people are infected when the skin will have a strong itching sensation, and in the red and swollen areas, there will be small, visible caves. You just need to go to the hospital and ask a doctor for simple treatment. It can be eradicated. Although the term has expired, it does not pose a significant threat to ordinary people. But for in terms of popularity, people who already suffer from immune diseases, be careful if you get your Dubai clothes on. Their terms have expired. It can breed up to about 1 million. Just relying on quantity, it can damage the skin to the point of being riddled with holes. Although, generally speaking, it is not easy to spread the word when the term expires. But at this level, it is very easy to leave a source of infection. The elderly are also a primary target for those whose terms have expired. Caregivers at nursing homes. You must pay attention to your personal hygiene. Unlike most pigs, they are just animals. Dissolving the prey into broth before eating it is different. Upon completion, it travels along the route of digestion within the body. What's under is cooking. Organs with demonic teeth. When you have kidney stones, by combining boiling and grinding, it is possible to cut the food into small pieces and push it down. But because their digestive system is too simple, it's just a pocket, and there was no sandbag inside. It also lacks strong peristaltic ability. This causes food to clump together in his stomach. This is merely the initial digestion in China. It will be excreted from the body. As the saying goes, the ancient road is neither a road, nor an anus, nor a door. But for the horse, this viewpoint still has some flaws. If you are a piece of dandruff, what happens after it's digested? You will find there was a door panel in front of him. This is the back door that has expired. I suspect it's something that exists at his back door. It's to block the clumps of food inside their bodies. Let them digest for a while. Many anuses that have reached maturity, they all have uniquely exquisite door panels. And the one who made the exchange was Gang Lyman. His name comes from the Greek word prokotos. The anus has always been the boundary gate, the largest total number of back doors. He can be said to be the world, the most powerful anal owner. Other parasites that live on the surface of mammals include the mites Euphorbia lithyrus. It can be said to be the most unrecognizable among insects. It doesn't look like a spider at all. Instead, the stomach band is stretched continuously. Legs shrunk extremely short. It turned into an insect-like shape. It's different from the expiration date. Like a template, it lives on the face. Depending on memory ability, it can be divided into hair follicle mite Demodex follicularum and sebaceous gland mites. And affected by hormones, men secrete more oil. So the probability of being infected with milk mites, much larger than women. The ergot mites feed on oils. They usually live in the pores. But when paying, it will crawl out of your pores. Doctor, you only need to mate once. Then they can lay eggs in your pores. Although it sounds terrifying, but such as the activity of sex mites, it generally does not cause harm to humans. But if you don't pay attention to your face, cleanse your head and skin. It could also be due to sex mites. Inflammation due to excessive quantity. Mites can not only parasitize the human body, they can also live as parasites in other people's homes. Some people might be curious. There are neither green plants nor animals in my house. What do mites eat? Actually, as long as it's small enough. This world is full of food. Like species of the burrowing mite family, you can then eat the cotton-padded clothes at home, grains and dried fruits, fur, and other items. You can even eat cheese. Cheese-eating rats are such a type of creature. Their digestive juices can promote cheese fermentation. They'll add the rind to the cheese later. Leave a unique texture. The cheese that Mr. Sure processed. It's a very popular food in Northern Europe. Some of the white dust on the cheese. Actually, it's just Boss Sure's dead skin and excrement. So, it will taste spicy when you eat it. It has a unique flavor. In Wilchwitz, Germany, people even built a monument for Sloman. If you don't keep anything at home. Among the members of the imperial ceremony, dust mites also live there. Although dust mites do not rely on humans for food. But what about them? And it is indeed from the ancestors who parasitized the human body. Evolved. In our daily lives. The most common dust mites? Roughly speaking, they can be divided into 3 types. These are dust mites, and stone mite. There are too many dust mites, besides potentially triggering allergies. It may also irritate the respiratory tract. Causes asthma attack. As is well known, what do people do every day? It will shed about 1 gram of skin cells. In the dust that accumulates in those corners of the house. More than 3 floors. They are all just the surface of your own skin. And what is the main food of dust mites? These are the ones rich in oil. Golden section environmentally friendly dander. In extreme cases, inside a speck of dust, there can be 3,500 dust mites. At your home, the most contact with skin every day, the places that are most frequently wiped out. It's just that I stay in bed too long at night. Don't be fooled by the small size of the place. But a double bed is the most you can have. The cost to support up to 2 million animals. And what about these excrement and body fragments? That's what makes our noses itchy. The culprit behind sneezing and even asthma. A student asked, "Hey host, are there any direct and effective methods for eliminating mites?" Some brothers control the humidity. Dust boards don't absorb water. What about them usually? They all obtain the water their bodies need from the air. When thirsty, they will use the first insufficient gland. Sodium chloride and potassium chloride are produced. These solutions absorb water from the atmosphere. But what if the air becomes very dry? These solutions will then clump together, blocking the gland pores through physical obstruction. Reduce water intake. Therefore, cost is related to air humidity. It has very high requirements. If the ambient humidity is below 50, they will huddle together for warmth by making it into a ball to reduce the surface area in contact with air. Prevent moisture loss. If the humidity continues to decrease, the larvae on the plate will enter a dormant state until the air becomes humid again. Why? That's why some people feel hot during the humid season. Allergic symptoms will then appear. Therefore, the most effective way to control mites is, it means reducing the humidity of the environment. And you should change your girlfriend frequently and change your bed sheets often. But there's a problem. That means the mites died from sun exposure. The body was still inside the blanket. And in modern society, it's rare for us to air out our blankets during the day. When it's time to put away the quilts during the plum rain season and the return of warm, humid weather, the air is humid and water can be released. Dust mites, on the contrary, will multiply rapidly. 2 million dust mites. Daily excrement. The corpse will stick to the sheets, even crawling into the mattress on the pillowcase. A regular vacuum cleaner. Not enough baptism. It cannot remove the deeper layers. I'm worried about chemical residues when using mite removing sprays. It's bad for the elderly, children, and pets. You might ask me why my home has low humidity. Will there be too few shelves? You can't take the mattress apart and air it out every day, can you? An M200 Otwar mite remover is expected to be available. This will help us completely resolve these hidden dangers. Give your family a clean, mite-free environment. Look how dirty the bed is after just 1 minute of vacuuming. On the one hand, relying on outdoor radio frequency technology, able to penetrate deep into the plant interior. Even the eggs of the xanthoxylum larvae can be completely killed, cut off reproduction at the source. On the other hand, the high-frequency tapping of 36,000 times per minute is particularly powerful. The body hidden in the mattress vest. He could shake out even excrement. In addition, there is a hurricane suction force of 17,000 kilopascals. These allergens are directly drawn into the double-walled cup. Leave nothing. Double-walled cups are less prone to clogging than traditional single-walled cups. Cleaning, it won't get your hands dirty. Aromatherapy and 65-degree hot air design. From the perspective of smell and temperature, it destroyed the living environment of mites. This prevents the mites from breeding again. The used blankets are still warm and fragrant, and it can accurately display the number of dust mites. The wool won't get tangled. Whether it's cleaning mattresses or sofas, or a child's treasure-hunting doll, it only takes a few minutes to push. What about those invisible dust mites? It can be cleaned up. Choose a mite remover. We still have to choose the industry leader. Certification and after-sales service. They are all very reliable. They'll put the link in the comment section. You can get a 7-day free trial and customer service for just 1 cent. Give us the secret code for the cages for a better price. Ensure the whole family can get a good night's sleep. Get rid of the health problems caused by mites.